Respectful Boundary Setting, presented by Miravo. Chapter 1. The Quiet Cracks Beneath Curiosity. Mr. Rashid had always believed that observation was a form of intelligence. He watched people the way some watched the sky, quietly, patiently, looking for patterns that others ignored. He noticed pauses in conversations, the way smiles arrived late to certain faces, how some people leaned in while others instinctively stepped back. These details fascinated him. Yet for all his awareness of others, Rashid often failed to understand himself, especially when it came to relationships. He had loved deeply, too deeply, perhaps, and each time he had told himself the same story. Love demands openness, surrender, and complete immersion. Boundaries, he believed, were for those who feared intimacy. Only later did he begin to suspect that this belief had cost him more than it had given. That afternoon, the neighborhood felt unusually still. The streets were clean, the trees unmoving, as if the world itself were holding its breath. Rashid walked without urgency, his hands clasped behind his back, his mind restless. It was then that he saw Farhana. She sat alone on a bench beneath a jacaranda tree, a book resting lightly in her hands, not gripping it, resting it. That detail struck him immediately. She respected objects the way she respected people, without possession. Farhana, he said, uncertain if it was truly her. She looked up, surprised, then smiled, a calm, unforced smile that reached her eyes. Rashid, you walk like someone carrying too many thoughts. He laughed softly. Is it that obvious? To those who are listening, yes. They exchanged pleasantries, but something deeper lingered beneath their words. As they began walking together, Rashid felt an old comfort return, yet also a subtle tension. Farhana had always been perceptive, dangerous in the way truth often is. After several quiet steps, she spoke. "Tell me something," she said. "Why do you always give more than people ask for?" Rashid stopped walking. "I don't understand." She turned to face him. "Yes, you do. You give your time, your trust, your emotional space, without checking whether the other person knows how to hold it." He frowned. "Isn't that what sincerity is?" Farhana exhaled slowly. Sincerity without boundaries becomes self-erasure. That sentence landed heavily. They sat on a low wall nearby. Rashid stared at the ground. "I thought love was about dissolving the self." "No," she said gently. "Love is about meeting, not disappearing." He looked up at her then. "Then why does it hurt so much?" "Because," she replied, "you confuse closeness with surrender." Silence stretched between them, not awkward, but dense. She continued, "Rashid, boundaries are not punishments. They are agreements with yourself." He shook his head. "Every time I tried to draw a line, I felt guilty, as if I were being selfish." "That's because you were taught that endurance equals virtue," Farhana said. "But endurance without wisdom becomes suffering." Something inside him cracked, not loudly, but enough to let light in. Poetry, Chapter 1. Love is not the absence of lines, but the courage to draw them gently. Not every open door invites safety. Not every silence means peace. The heart needs borders like land needs rivers, to flow without drowning itself. Rashid spoke again, his voice lower now. "I've watched relationships rot from the inside, small misunderstandings turning poisonous. Why does that happen?" because emotions accumulate. Unspoken discomfort hardens, resentment grows quietly, and without boundaries, people bleed into each other until neither recognizes themselves. He nodded slowly. I thought love would protect me from that. Love is power, she said, and power without structure destroys. They resumed walking. The cafe appeared ahead, warm and inviting. Inside, the clink of cups and low conversations wrapped around them. Rashid ordered tea. Farhana declined, smiling. I don't always need to consume. Sometimes being present is enough. That sentence stayed with him. As he sipped his tea, Rashid finally spoke what he had avoided for years. I gave someone everything once, and when it ended, I didn't just lose them, I lost myself. Farhana met his eyes. That is not love's failure. That is the absence of boundaries. He swallowed. Then teach me. She leaned forward. First lesson. Boundaries are not reactions. They are intentions. The air felt different now, clearer, sharper. Outside, the sun began its descent, shadows lengthening across the street. Rashid sensed that this conversation marked a beginning, not an ending, a shift from emotional chaos to conscious living. And for the first time, love did not feel like a storm. It felt like a responsibility.